Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Metal Magdalene with Jet right here on Metal Messiah Radio. Tonight we have a special guest with us. We have Kelly Mclauchlin of Diabolic. Welcome to the show, Kelly.
Thanks, Jet. Thank you. Nice to be here.
So, Kelly, tell us a little bit, history about yourself. What bands have you been working on prior to Diabolic and up to now, actually?
Right on. So sure, I've actually I've been playing at Diabolic for a number of years, but I'd played in a bunch of other bands before this coming up. My main band that I played in for a bunch of years was called Pessimist. We did real good. Got a few CDs out, and did a bunch of touring and that sort of thing. This was back in the day. Our first record was Cults of the Initiated, 1997, so we're talking about 20 years ago, kiddies. Been at this for a while. Parted ways with that band for a while. Actually, we just went on break. I ended up jamming with some of these same guys that are in Diabolic now and formed a band called Unholy Ghost out of Tampa, Florida, death metal scene. Became real popular. We got a record out on Century Media called Torrential Rain. That made a real big name for us in the underground. And I touched on that a little bit with you earlier, Jet. Around about that same time or a little bit after, I actually did some touring in the band Angel Corpse. 2008, we did a West Coast tour all the way up to California, up to Seattle, all over the place. And then probably what I'm most recognized for is touring in Possessed, which I did for almost 3 years, touring the band Possessed all over Europe, wrote some bunch of new songs, played a bunch of shows in the U.S., and, just waving the flag of death fucking metal all the way. So I've been doing that and playing a handful of other bands off and on. And, but yeah, that's most of it. I think I covered it. Yeah, and then ended up back in Diabolic around that same time, 2008, off and on. We cut a new record, Excisions of Exorcisms, in 2010. And that kind of brings us up to date now. We're getting ready to drop a new record here sometime this year, hopefully.
So let's go way back then, really quick, to tell us about the early days about Diabolic, and since you're like one of the founding members, how did the band get started, and what was it like for the band back in the early days? I mean, like you said, that's a long time ago.
Right. So it's actually a really interesting question because I had actually played guitar on the very first, what we call the unreleased Diabolic demo. Mm-hmm. Diabolic is basically the brainchild of the drummer Antar Lee Coates, and he and I were playing together in a band back then, 1996, called Horror of Horrors, out of Maryland. So a lot of the Maryland heads will recognize that name in the death metal circles. Played a lot of shows with Dying Fetus, my other band, Pessimist, stuff like that. Sadistic Torment, some of those guys. You'll hear some of those names from the Maryland death metal scene back in the day. Antar had moved to Florida, and he actually went ahead and formed a lineup. I wasn't part of that yet. I was still in Maryland playing in Pessimist and touring around and stuff. And Diabolic went ahead and got their start from there and had released a few albums. I ended up relocating to Florida, like I said, and joining the band Diabolic later. I think sometime around 2006. It was after Unholy Ghost, and then we ended up getting the name back. I don't know if you had heard of any of this. There was a pretty big rumble in the underground for a while. There's a big dispute over the name Diabolic, some of the former members and stuff, and that's sort of what had prompted us to go ahead and do Unholy Ghost, which I think is also a really super cool name for a death metal band, by the way. And a fucking awesome band. I love the band, I love the songs and the music and the guys. These guys are like, we're all bros. These are my best friends forever. You know what I mean? It's a really good vibe in this band. And that's exactly the same lineup, which is in Diabolic now. So like I said, I ended up back with them sometime around 2006 or 07. I did some leads on a couple of the records, some EPs we had put out, one called Possessed by Death EP that came out. We signed to Deathgasm Records. They put that out. And then Excisions of Exorcisms in 2010 was the big one. And, of course, in between all that, playing, tons of festivals and stuff like that, a lot of high-profile stuff. We actually got an opportunity to go out with Cannibal Corpse on their Evisceration Plague tour, the first week of the tour. I guess 1349 couldn't make it over because of their devices and that volcano eruption. I don't know if you remember that, about that same time. So we literally got a phone call the night before the Cannibal tour kicks off. Hey, can you guys do this tour? And the next day we're on the Cannibal Corpse tour. We played a bunch of shows up the East Coast with them, all the way up to New York, Virginia, everywhere in between. And man, it was just it was awesome. It was great, super cool experience. And unfortunately, by that time, the band, 1349 made it over. They joined the tour, and they say, "Well, guys, thanks," but but it was awesome, a really cool experience. So we've had a lot of cool stuff happening for the band Diabolic over the years, and these last several years, I've been busy, touring in Possessed, and now that's on the back burner, and I'm focused full time on Diabolic right now. So, that's what's up.
So what's going on in Diabolic right now? Are you guys writing new material?
Yeah, exactly. We're writing a bunch of new material. Actually, the album's probably like 90% written. Antar's written most of the music on guitar, even though he's a drummer. We've been working a lot on the arrangements. We actually have a home studio built in Tampa, and that's we've started tracking. Just 2 weeks ago, I was out there. We started laying some rhythm scratch guitars. We got some of the drums tracked already. We've been doing some live recording of the rehearsals and stuff. So having the home studio is definitely a huge plus, and it's really helping us, move forward. You know what I mean? At our own pace. So that's a very cool thing. So we got a bunch of the new songs written. Can't wait for you guys to hear it. We got one that we had played out probably a year and a half ago. We've been, playing that in our regular set. It's called Mausoleum of the Unholy Ghost, and we actually did a self-produced video clip for that. That's out there online. If you look on YouTube or Facebook or whatever, it's out there. You can look that up. Again, it's all going self-done. We just shot the stuff, the video footage with our cell phones, and just edited it up or whatever and slapped it together. That was just a demo recording. We're going to be redoing it, for the album and stuff like that. But it's got a lot of positive feedback. Everyone's totally digging it, stoked. And, if that's what you guys, if that's what you like, you're going to definitely hear a lot more of that on the new record.
And for this new record, Kelly, is this going to be a full length?
Yeah, it's going to be a full length. I think we're up to something like 10 songs now. So, yep, full length record.
So tell us what the current lineup is now. We keep talking about it, but now we want names, Kelly.
You got it. All right. So as I mentioned, it's really Antar's the heart of the band. Mm-hmm. He's the drummer, Antar Lee Coates. You guys will know him. He's the blast master, played in so many, killer bands through the years. Myself on guitars. We also have Cherry Mortallero on guitars. And bass player vocal is this guy, Paul Ouellette, who's, again, original member of Diabolic, been there since the very beginning. And all these guys are my bros. We're all the same 4 dudes that played in Unholy Ghost and the current lineup of Diabolic.
And so, Kelly, do you guys got anything going on this year, like as far as playing any shows or anything like that?
Absolutely, Jet. We got a couple of shows coming up here later next month, July 21st. We're playing a show with Amon, which is the Hoffman brothers from Deicide. Everybody knows those guys. Got a show with them. Again, that's July 21st at the Brass Mug in Tampa. That's coming up. And we're using that as kind of a warm-up show. The following week, we're playing the Chicago Domination Fest in Chicago. We're actually headlining the first night, which is Thursday night. A bunch of killer bands on that one. Mortal Decay, Gruesome. It's got just so many killer bands on that one. I'm sure you've seen the flyers, and we'll put the word out there for that. So looking forward to that. We got those 2 shows coming up, and we're actually just starting bookings for, it's kind of hush-hush. It's not all come together yet, but it looks like early November, a West Coast tour for us.
Oh, nice.
So, yeah, definitely. Pretty stoked about that one. L.A., San Diego, we'll do Orange County, probably throw Vegas in there. There was talk of getting up to Oakland or Seattle, but we might scale it back. It depends. We're going to have to see how it goes. So, yeah, looking forward to that.
So Kelly, where could people go to learn more about Diabolic, keep up with you guys? I mean, is Facebook the best place, or do you guys got other websites out there?
Yeah, so Facebook is the best place right now. We've got other, web presences out there. I actually just recently I'm getting the old original Diabolic website back online. I have a domain name. If you go there, the site's still kind of under construction. You'll see it's severely outdated. I'm just getting everything updated and getting the new photos and stuff out there and getting a fresh look. That address is www.diabolic666.com. So you can look us up there.
And besides Diabolic, Kelly, do you got anything else going on?
Yeah, no, that's really it for right now, Jet. Like I mentioned, there were some other bands I'd been playing in, and it's nothing to speak of right now. I'm really focused on Diabolic, these upcoming shows, and doing the new record.
All right, well, there you got it all right there, Kelly. Thanks for coming on the show, getting us all up to date on the band, and also thank you for giving away a few of the CDs tonight. And all the best to you and the band.
Absolutely, and thanks for having me, Jet. And I also want to throw out there, we're actually already confirmed for Las Vegas Death Fest number 10. Next year's the 10th anniversary. Diabolic's going to be playing, and I'm going to be playing in another band, pulling special double duty with another band I'm not going to mention right now. You're going to have to wait and see for yourself. All right?
That's kind of exciting, because that's going to be a big show. And Michael already invited me every year. He's like, you got to come. You're going to be my guest. We're going to hook you up. Just get your flight out here. I really have no excuse not to go there.
That'd be great, Jed. Yeah. Hope to see you there. It's a blast every time.
But the 10th anniversary. Yeah, that's a big one. I was going to say the 10th anniversary is a big one, and I'm kind of excited to see what Michael has up his sleeves for this one.
Well, I don't know how he's going to beat this year. I went there this year just a couple of weeks ago, and it was the best one so far. I mean, the attendance was through the roof. It's in a new club. It's right on Fremont Street. It's a blast. So, yeah, definitely come on out. You're going to love it.
Okay, Kelly.
What else can you say?
Thanks for coming on the show, and best of luck to you out there.
Awesome. Thank you, Jed. Thanks so much for having me.